gold has touched an all-time high, 1 lakh for 10 grams of 24 karat gold in 2025. All the more interested and keen to know about which planets and what happened astrologically that led to gold touching an all-time high of 1 lakh for 24 karat gold for 10 grams in 2025.
Well, thank you once again for having me here. First thing, the Karaka of all the metals is Saturn.
Okay.
Okay. So I understand that people will relate gold with Sun and Jupiter,
Yes.
right? But primary, it's a metal,
Okay.
right? So metal is Saturn, be it
Right.
silver, be it bronze, be it gold, anything.
Okay.
Wherever you have, purity associated, how do you make things pure? When you burn things. So if you have to make something pure, you need Surya,
Okay.
right? And if you see that end product, which is absolutely pure right in front of you,
Okay.
that's Jupiter. But primarily, basically, it's a metal, right? So whenever you look at the price or something like that happens, the first basic thing is demand versus supply. Okay, so if the demand will increase, if the countries will purchase gold, right, definitely it will be high, right? So whenever there is a war-like situation or there are situations which are very, very turbulent, there would be countries who would buy gold for their security,
Right.
right? But over the period of time, when the banks are now involved and we have various schemes coming from the bank, right? And we are buying paper gold, right? That's when, there is a lot of demand now. People have understood that this is the most safest commodity, right? And it will eventually increase. But what happened from 2024 to 25? You see, there was a growing trend in 1996 and 98 also, right? 28, 30 years, prior or behind. But it is written in the Shastras that whenever Saturn is heading towards Pisces,
Okay.
right, the prices of the metals increase.
Okay.
And gold is a metal. So it's not only the gold which has gone high, even the silver.
Right.
Right? It's the metals that are going high. And it was supported by Jupiter because Jupiter was transiting in the Dhan Bhava,
Okay.
the Taurus.
Taurus. Yeah, Jupiter was in Taurus. Yes.
In the Taurus. And there was a parivartan also happened at the point of time between the Pisces and the Taurus because of Venus being exalted there.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So even that, Venus is luxury. Venus is that happiness that you get once you buy an ornament. So gold is Jupiter, but when you convert that, gold into an ornament, it becomes Venus.
Yes.
Because it's a beauty.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to beautify, an ordinary thing, maybe a piece of metal, right? So there was an exchange that has happened. Saturn is moving into the Pisces, right? So there were multiple, inputs that were coming. It's not only the Sun or the Jupiter or, the Saturn, but also Venus has contributed. And also the overall scenario of different countries, especially countries in the western part of the world, China, Korea, India, they wanted to buy gold. So the demand was high. See, whenever the GDP is going high, the economies, the countries are doing better, the first thing they want to do is they want to buy gold. And it is not only just that they want to increase their currency, but it is also about increasing their financial stability. They should be ready for the odd times. Right. So multiple reasons were there, right? And on the same time, if you look at this 25 and 26, definitely in October, Jupiter is going to be exalted because it is Atichari Jupiter. It's, moving very fast, right? It's going to be hitting 3 zodiac signs in 2025. It's already in Taurus, then in Gemini, then Cancer, retrograde, going back, and then, coming out of Gemini permanently next year, 2026, in the mid. But the problem here is that we should not get carried away.
Okay.
Right. The only thing is, yes, the gold prices will rise.
When Jupiter enters Cancer, it can.
Absolutely. It will, what, when Jupiter enters Cancer and it's going to aspect Saturn at Pisces, the prices will increase in an organized way.
Okay.
Last 4 months were not organized.
Okay.
Right. And if you say a particular amount, like it will go to 1 lakh this or 1 lakh that, it's a wrong statement. Many people on YouTube said that it will go up to 92, 95, 96. People never said 1 lakh. Right? But saying this amount, 1 lakh, 120, 130, is not giving justice to your Jyotish. Jyotish will only tell you the trends. It will be higher. Right? It will go to 1,50,000 or 60,000 or 80,000 is not a right capability or a statement on behalf of Jyotish. But definitely it will be going very high. But again, there will be speculations coming down, going ahead, coming down, going high. But if you talk to me in 2 years' time or 3 years' time until June 2027, it will be respectively quite high.
If somebody wants to invest in gold, would you check would you do the yearly predictions, market predictions, or gold predictions for them? Or would you rather check their individual horoscope and see their luck? Because gold is a commodity which by and large will increase in course of time. It will. But would you still check a person's horoscope to see if that person has luck to invest in metals or gold in specific?
100% yes. Because this is a common question that I get during the consultations, where people would say, Navneet sir, where should I invest? Gold, real estate, or crypto, or share, or mutual funds, or SIPs? So this is absolutely there in every consultation.
Okay.
Right? So we check the yogas. At times, gold does not suit everyone. I've seen people who bought gold and maybe for XYZ reason, they have to sell it.
Okay.
Right? Maybe buying a property, they were short of some money, they said, okay, let us sell it, we'll buy it later on. Or there'll be people, who would have a theft in the home, the gold is gone, right? Or some emergencies at home where you're selling off the gold. So investment in the gold can trigger some unwanted situations I've seen with the people, right? So it is very important to check the placement of Sun and Jupiter, right? If you are buying a gold, and especially also, the transits of Saturn, right, at a generic level. And even Saturn has to be well placed for the gold that lives with you for a long time.
Okay.
Right? So, and on the same time, I see certain horoscopes where investment in share trading or real estate is much, much better. I've seen people who have grown in real estates probably 4 times than what you've invested in the gold, right?
So which means that before you invest, it is important to check with an astrologer, look into your horoscope and get it checked which area you really can grow.
Absolutely.
So 2025 saw Saturn and Rahu both transiting the sign of Pisces. What did this transit in specific do to gold? Also, I'm keen to know, when Rahu transits from Pisces to Aquarius, what will this Rahu then do to gold?
Okay. First of all, as I said in my earlier session also, where Rahu is the Karaka of speculations. It's the Karaka of highs and lows.
Okay.
So when it was within the 3 or the 6 degrees, when the Saturn was entering Pisces and Rahu was coming in from the opposite direction, so speculations meet the Karaka of metals.
Right.
Right? So that energy is influencing each other. And that was the time, and it's not that the gold has just gone high, it has come down. You see scenarios 96,000, 88,000, 89,000, 94,000, again 90,000, 92,000, 98,000. Again 1 lakh, 96, 95, 96 and a half. So it's like very speculative. It's like highs and lows. That's what Rahu's energy is.
Okay.
And the moment it goes away, probably 10 or 12 degrees away from the Saturn and enters Aquarius, those speculations will reduce.
Okay, which is 18th May onwards.
Yeah, so that those speculations will, it's not like, I mean, it will still be not 10 degrees apart or 15 degrees apart. It takes time, right? So speculations will slow down. And when in October, Jupiter comes in the sign of Cancer and looks at Saturn, the gold will increase, but in an organized way.
Okay.
In a very, very, less speculative way. It's not like, people are saying that today it's 1 lakh, wait for 88, 87,000. So that gap of almost 10%, 12% will be reduced.
Okay, so it will either stabilize and be steady at one particular...
And then it will slowly move ahead because Saturn is in Pisces. But Rahu, wherever it gets into, any Karaka planet, like Saturn is Karaka of metals, it will give a lot of speculation, a lot of air.
Okay.
Right? So at times you will see a very pungent smell and then deceptive smell. Right? That's what Rahu is like a magician. It's like showing you from this hand and taking, and then it's in this hand. You don't know how that thing has gone into this hand. That's what Rahu is capable of.
Okay.
Right? So that was the only effort of the Rahu, with Saturn. Rahu will no way be involved with the gold or something only when it meets. But at the same time, Rahu permanently in the Aquarius is going to be aspected by Jupiter and vice versa, because Jupiter will go into the sign of Gemini. So Gemini and Aquarius have 5-9 relationship. So there will be aspect of Rahu on Jupiter and Jupiter's aspect on Rahu as well. So that will also stabilize a bit, that speculations that you see of the gold. So technically it was this 4 major speculations that have come in last 4 months because Saturn and Rahu was very close.
Okay. So we saw the increase in February and then we will see an increase in October, and then subsequently we will see an increase thereon.
See, eventually it will increase.
Yes.
There can be instances for a week or 10 days it will go a little down. But if you see the overall trajectory, the graph, it is going to increase 100%.
Okay, so gold is a safe bet for long-term investors. And I would say that if you're an investor, I think a year or 2 is not really that long-term. So I think you can also consider it as a good short-term investment as well. So that brings me next to investment in silver. Now in astrology, silver is represented by Moon and also by Venus. I want to know from you, which planet do you actually see for investing in silver? Would it be, because Venus also looks at diamonds, you see diamonds through Venus too, but you don't see diamonds through Moon. So would you really check Moon for silver, or would you check Venus, or would you check both?
You see, again, Moon is a very fast moving planet.
Right.
Right. And checking only the Moon is not the justice that we can give to silver. For this, we'll dig in little deep. First of all, since Saturn is the Karaka of all the metals, where do you find all the Nakshatras of Saturn? All the Nakshatras of Saturn are in the water signs.
Okay.
Right? For an example, Uttar Bhadrapada is in the sign of Pisces. Then we have Pushya, which is in the sign of Cancer. And we have Anuradha, which is again in the sign of Scorpio. All 4, 8 and 12 are water signs.
Right.
Where is Jupiter exalted? Jupiter is exalted in the water sign.
Yes.
Where is Venus exalted? Venus is exalted in Pisces, in the water sign. right? So you see the transit of moon and transit of Venus in the signs of in the nakshatras of Saturn, which are in the water signs,
Okay.
is something very, very important when it comes to, having this hype, created for the silver as well.
Okay.
But on the same time, when Saturn moves to its own nakshatra, Uttra Bhadrapada, remains there, that is also the time, because you see, where is that energy going? The energy is a watery energy, and that watery energy is going to affect silver a lot, right? So silver is also going to be an extremely important investment. Whenever we have, a metal which is represented by a highly speeding, graha or a planet, we have to go to the nakshatras. We have to see the karka, which is Saturn, moving into the water sign, and then all the nakshatras of Saturn. So Jupiter is also going to touch the nakshatras of Saturn, right, in the sign of Cancer.
Which month would that be?
That would be probably the next year, when it will enter the signs of Pushya, and it will be the exact, transition of the Jupiter in the sign of Cancer.
Okay.
Right. So that is the time. So that would be mid of 2026.
Okay.
Will be September, October, November 26. These are the times when you will see real growth of silver, right? Silver going very high.
Okay. So those who want to invest in silver, this is the right time to do so.
You see, Jupiter is karka of overall wealth. Right? So that is why, even the Jupiter, beside Moon and Venus, the Jupiter transit, in the water sign,
Okay.
and that too in the nakshatras of Saturn,
Okay.
is very, very important.
So are there any specific astrological remedies which one can do? Maybe horoscope based, individual horoscope based, to stabilize their investments in these metals like gold and silver?
First thing first, is there are no generic remedies.
Okay.
Right? Whatever you see on YouTube, that, do this for Brihaspati, do this for Shani, right? Do this mantra, and the gold will come to you, Mahalakshmi will come to you. It's not like that.
Okay.
Right? The most important remedy should be dasha-based remedies, right? What dasha, what period are you running? Second thing is going to an astrologer and finding out whether you have that blessings to have gold or silver investments going to the higher level, and you also getting, long term, permanent, prosperous results from, such buyings or such investments. That's number two. That's a remedy actually, right? Number three would be, I believe that in Kali Yuga, you should give some portion, right, of your wealth to the god, right?
Okay.
And how do you do it? I had a very close friend of mine, and we were discussing one day, and he said that, Navneet, I buy gold, I buy silver, but they go away, right? It doesn't stay. And I saw a chart that said, yeah, I mean, you have good, good yogas to have gold, but somehow there was a Rahu trouble, which is making speculative.
Okay.
So that is one major remedy that, gives you relief, is go to a temple and offer some ornament to the god, be it any god. Okay. Right. So that is maybe 1 gram. Or maybe, if you read Karma Vipak Samhita, where, Shiva clearly explains it to Mahaparvati that in the next birth, if a native has to come out of this curse, he should give this much tola of the gold to a Brahmin. He should make a murti or a deity, of the gold and pray it. He should, give this gold to this particular category of the person. So, if you have it in your horoscope and still the things are not working, giving little bit gold as a charity in a temple or to a Brahmin looking at specific combinations in your horoscope is a great remedy.
Okay.
Right? Because this is law of the nature that what you give, it comes back in exponential way.
True.
Right? And especially if you have Venus in trouble, you need to donate little bit of gold to a young girl who's getting married. Right? So you can just give it as a gift. Right? But then again, it is all centric to a horoscope.
Okay.
And there are no generic remedies which can make you a millionaire or a billionaire. You already have it in your horoscope, and right people, right astrologers come in your life, right? And right opportunities come in your life. The time is right. You are also very hardworking at that point of time. So it is multiple things that click, and then you get that great result.
Wow. On that note, we have completed this podcast on gold and silver investments, but very important for you guys to understand that it's not about just speculative market astrology, saying that, okay, these are the planet combinations for this particular year, so just invest and, gold will do well, silver will do well. No, what we learned today is that your individual horoscope and your luck to sustain that commodity also makes a difference and matters. So on that note, I do astrology podcasts, and we trended astrology podcasts in India. You can follow my channel, and I make sure that I interview only the authentic best gurus of Jyotish. Lots of love.